dignity of the woman is linked, just as it is in dignity of man, to our liberty. Any Christian model of headship must include women's dignity and the fact that both are held accountable to reason. She's trying to secure something that should have been secured for her, which is the husband's unconditional love. We are more vulnerable as women, and we can't really be vulnerable in unsafe places. He just lives it. I don't feel dominated. I just feel secure. Hey guys, I'm coming to you from my homeschool room for my kids today. I want to say right off the bat, there is nothing wrong with being a genuinely good Catholic guy. That's great. And my husband, he's one of the most genuinely kind people that I know. He can be a little rough around the edges. His friends will know what I'm talking about. He's just very kind person, loves to help people. The nice guy mentality is not about kindness. It's kind of like entitlement dressed up as virtue. They say all the right things, perform like this role of the good Catholic man. Underneath all of this, though, he's more interested in like filling a vacancy in his own life than he's actually interested in the person in front of him. A woman can sense when you're like on the hunt. A woman doesn't want to be hunted. My husband was the opposite of that. He wasn't on the hunt for a woman. He was just being a man with or without a woman. He knew what to do. He knew how to be a man. He didn't need a woman to know how to be a man. I will say he didn't have himself totally figured out as a person, like his role in life, but he did know how to be a man. And it didn't matter if he was going to get married or not. He knew what to do. He was never obsessive. You know, sometimes people like get obsessed with you. like I'm not all that, you know? And he was also never possessive of me. And this is, we were friends a long time, like kind of knew we liked each other, but we also were getting to know each other for a long time, just being friends. He consistently pursued the relationship and he took that initiative. And that was not something I wanted to do because I knew him. I knew who he was and his particular personality. He was going to have to come to me. I don't think that like men always have to do the one, like take the initiative necessarily, but for his personality, I just felt like that was important. Because he was not dead set on getting married, I didn't want to trap anyone into that. In the end, I knew it was going to be his decision. I'm not going to chase that down. I'm not going to vie for your attention. I'm just not going to do that. You want me or you don't. And so he consistently reached out, and so he never smothered me. He never felt like he owned me in any way when we did start dating. I know the dating scene is abysmal right now. A lot of people don't feel like they have options today. If that's you, I think the most helpful thing I can say is get comfortable with being a woman or being a man, whether or not you have someone. Like God always has a vocation for you. God has a plan forward through time. Your sanctification does not depend on another person. It depends on like your relationship with God. So how are you being a man? How are you being a woman without someone else? If you're a woman, like who are you welcoming? And if you're a man, who are you defending? Who are you protecting? Those are such great trainings for becoming a spouse someday. How can you get involved in service? Because service will form you. If marriage is your calling, or even if it's not, then service will form you in being human. To go find someone that's lonelier than you are. If you've got like a lot of heart love to give, go find somebody to love that needs it. There's so many people that need it. Babies, dying patients, immigrants, jail ministry. Service is what truly prepares you for marriage more than any box you're going to check. And you're going to find the best people in service too. Not that like don't do service for that reason. Don't go do service to go find a person in service, but like that's where they are. That's where the good people are. So besides knowing how to be a man, I also have loved that he allowed me to be myself. I remember when we first were just started talking, I'm a young college girl and I'm like doing my makeup and I'm like checking my fit. I just remember like looking in the mirror and being like, who are you really? And just sort of being fed up with like the superficial parts of myself and like always wanting to like attract or to draw attention to myself or like putting on my best performance, right? Kind of just want to shave my head, move to the Australian bush, and just I just watched a movie of this guy working in the Australian bush, and it just was like really hard and honest work. So that's why I wanted to do this in particular. But it was like, I just wanted to be out there really living like in the rawness of life apart from any appearance. I just wanted to live, to truly live and find out who I am with God as my witness. Who am I? I was tired of trying to impress anybody, of like trying to put on my, I remember telling my now husband this. Most college guys don't have like a super great positive reaction to like the idea of you shaving your head. And I was like, he's gonna think I'm a weirdo. He's gonna think I'm a little weird. He's gonna like judge me for this. But instead of saying anything like how weird that is or strange that would be, he was like, it's to this day one of my favorite things that he's ever told me. He saw me. He would have hated if I shaved my head, but he didn't care also. You know what I mean? He was more interested in me, the person. He took me seriously as like a thinking person. He genuinely listened to my thoughts, and he would push back when he thought I was wrong, or he would bring in like this other information that would broaden my perspective. He was not afraid to disagree with me. I don't like when people will become like this mirror to you, like playing a role of some kind that I don't trust, like strategically agreeing with you in order that you perceive them a certain way. Like, you shouldn't always agree with me. I've been wrong before. That's not respect. It's not respect for somebody to like take everything you say and never push back on it. Because like for me, that's how I love people. I try to do it as respectfully as possible, but if I disagree with somebody and I think they're wrong on something and they're like talking to me in a place where it's appropriate to kind of like push back, you know, and it's not always appropriate to do that. But when it is, then I do like, well, I think you're wrong because of X, Y, Z. To me, that's honoring their dignity. And when people do that to me, that's like honoring me as a person. So he was just really good at like honoring my subjectivity, my ability to think and reason, and really challenged me in a positive way. I think this has become really crucial in our marriage, and I think it's crucial in every marriage, is that the man truly has a good grasp of the dignity of the woman. And the dignity of the woman is not just like we're all lovable in God's sight, which is true, of course, but also dignity of the woman is linked, just as it is in dignity of man, to our ability to choose the good, to our liberty. And when a woman has dignity in a marriage, it means she has the ability to choose the good. I think there can be a tendency that I've seen in certain circles where the subjectivity of the woman is like absorbed into the man's authority. Any model of marriage needs to include the theology that women have the ability to choose the good. Like they're not blindly obedient to their spouses when their spouses go against reason. This is what Casti Connubii, paragraph 27, tells us. Women honor the dignity of men by holding them accountable to reason. Like that's part of their sanctification, and vice versa, where men hold women accountable to reason. The man's authority can be divorced from reason. Any Christian model of headship must include women's dignity and the fact that both are held accountable to reason. It's not in some male-dominated model that's divorced from reason and from goodness and from truth. We talk about things together because we're both held accountable to the truth. Marriage is a sacrament, right? A sign of Christ and his church. And how did Christ use his authority? I love the verse. It's Christ did not regard equality with God something to be grasped. Christ didn't cling to his authority or constantly assert his authority. It was his. He lived it through love and through sacrifice. That is how Christ lived his authority, not as something to be grasped and held on to. That is our model of marital headship, taking responsibility by providing the structure in which the family can thrive, can truly thrive. That true authority, it doesn't shout, it doesn't insist, it just is. And that is how my husband is. He has never had to assert his authority. He takes initiative and he takes responsibility for the family. And because he just lives it, I don't feel dominated. I just feel secure because I don't have to constantly perform. I don't have to constantly go and cater to his every demand. He creates the space where I can just unfold as a woman and be woman naturally. It organically comes from his initiative of the things he does. It's that security that actually allows me to flourish as a wife, as a mom, and as a woman in my particular vocation. He is a total man of initiative. It's the most masculine trait, is of like seeing the needs of the family, to responding to the needs of the family. He allows me as a subject to prioritize my own responsibilities, which I also have as a wife and a mom, but I can prioritize them to what I think is most important. And then whatever I cannot accomplish on my own, like in true subsidiarity, he comes in and he takes care of the things I cannot get done. I exist as a person to him. We share a lot of responsibilities. We respond to the needs of our family, but he doesn't say, this is your job and that's my job, right? He just does what needs to be done. We were just having this conversation the other night. I was talking about certain influencers. He's not chronically online, so I have to fill him in on everything. He was like, doesn't that miss the whole point? Like, it's my job. Like, if something goes wrong with the household, that's on me. It's my job to make sure that my family is safe, is provided for, that they're secure. Like, that's a lot of pressure. And he just does that. He just bears that weight for me. And that allows me that security, that allows me to unfold. That means I'm not trying to secure his love. I'm not doing what I think he wants because then he'll love me best. When I'm truly the perfect wife, then I'll have his approval. But it's like he lays down that foundation of love and security and provision. And then in that space that I don't have to secure because he's the one providing it, then I can become woman. I think there's a danger when a woman has to try to procure the husband's approval and his love, because when a woman does that, she's the one that has to basically provide. She's trying to secure something that should have been secured for her, which is the husband's unconditional love. But when she's catering to his every demand, his every desire, then she's actually constantly performing. In a healthy marriage, you should like care for the needs of your husband and try to meet those in an organic way. But when a woman's role is reduced to placation of her husband's desires, it takes on a more maternal role. It kind of infantilizes him at the same time, because now by going to him and everything, woman's going outside of herself. She has to kind of take on the masculine securing. And then it sometimes tends to get where they feel like they actually don't respect the husband very much, because they feel like a child. I'm just describing a certain trend, like a subset. So I'm not saying this applies to every person and every marriage. It's not even so much about the externals as it is about the intent of the woman. Is she doing this because it flows naturally from who she is as a woman, and like she truly cares for her husband and wants him to be happy and truly is interested in who he is and his needs? Or is it like, if I don't do these things, my husband will not approve of me? And when it's the latter, then she takes on that more maternal role, and she feels like she's infantilizing her husband, that he's not actually meeting her needs. It can get dangerous. I think this is why you see divorces happening. I think you need to walk through this with your husband, but you don't want to get in a situation where you're infantilizing your husband by trying to secure his approval for yourself. He should have laid down that unconditional love and protection for you, and you should feel confident and secure in his love before you have to do any of those things. I should say there can be domination by a woman. I've seen this before too, where you don't want a man who does anything for his wife against reason or like caters to her demands either. You want someone who's truly interested in his wife's needs, but also holds her accountable to reason, because that honors her dignity as well. Like, men have needs also. There's a balance where the man just lays down this foundation of security, of love and protection, and then the woman can truly submit. And submission is like a letting go, right? It's a letting go of not having to self-protect. We are more vulnerable as women, and we can't really be vulnerable in unsafe places. So when you are with your spouse and your husband, when you are truly safe, it feels a little bit scary to allow yourself to truly submit to a protection of another. It feels very vulnerable. And so that submission for me is like letting go of the self-protection, letting go of the self-reliance and the self-provision. Coming from a single mom, I was a little scrappy growing up, and I'm a very independent person. And it's difficult for those walls to break down. But when your husband provides that safety for you, it has truly allowed me to really open up. It has revealed a whole new aspect of my personality and of what it means to be one wife of my husband who has provided these things for me. I didn't say all of the unhealthy things that we have gone through, because really the healthy points have been the anchor points for us as we sanctify, and those are the things to like look for and cling to. You know, everything else just washes away with the tide. So I'll probably be doing a few more videos in this space because it's just easier for me to do it here. But thank you always for watching, and let me know what you think.